Hi, welcome back. Today we're talking about upper limb tension tests. First thing I'd like to say is we're not going to do these tests first time with everybody. If somebody had a positive neurological test, there's no point doing an upper limb tension test because the nerve's already irritated. Putting it on tension is just going to flare it up. Having said that, the three nerve biases that we'll look at is the radial nerve. The radial nerve, what you want to do is make a fist over your thumb. And then if you do it in the same order every time, that way we can actually be consistent across all the therapies in between. So the first part of the test is shoulder depression. The second part of the test is wrist flexion and ulnar deviation. And then elbow extension. And then what we're doing is actually abducting and extending the shoulder. A full range test for this is actually 70 degrees abduction extension. With Shima, I'm going to come a little bit across the side of the bed, and that way I can get a bit more extension on the shoulder. So be very careful when you're doing these tests. Don't do them really rapidly because you could really stir somebody up. So you're slowly gliding, and usually you'll feel the tension before the patient if you do it slowly. Looking at the median nerve bias, we're going to depress the shoulder. My hand just sits underneath and then sits on the bed. That way I can hold her shoulder depression without actually having to pull. And then this one I use my leg to actually, first of all, abduct the shoulder to 90 degrees, supinate the forearm, extend the wrist and fingers and thumb, and focusing mainly on the thumb and the first two fingers. Externally rotate the shoulder and then extend the elbow. And Shima's started to wince. A full range test for this, I've taken it off stretch, is 0 degrees elbow extension. So for Shima, she's got minus 40 degrees. The last test is for the ulnar nerve bias. So similar thing, shoulder depression, shoulder abduction, external rotation, pronation of the forearm, and then extension of the wrist and fingers, and in particular looking at the last three fingers. So the little finger, the ring, and the middle finger. So my hand is grabbing here and pushing those fingers back. Maintaining that as I'm then abducting and flexing the elbow up towards the side of the head. And you're measuring that in terms of how much elbow flexion you're getting. So that's the upper limb tension test.